Hi guys, welcome to the video, and hope everybody's getting through lockdown okay. At least it's starting to ease now wherever you are. I'm sure it's the same where we're going through the phases and everything to get everything up and going. But there's light at the end of the tunnel and we're starting to come out of it, and hopefully you're coming out of it perfectly well and that you've learnt a few lessons and used this lockdown for your benefit, because there's a lot, as I said in previous videos, to learn from it. And what it broadens our horizons. If we can't train, then what else can we do to improve our performance? What else can we incorporate into our lives that will actually improve our lives, that will improve our sports performance and sprinting? So hopefully you've come out of lockdown with thinking differently. What else can I do to improve my performance? What am I not including? And am I being too blinkered? And this is what this video is all about really today, is about being blinkered in a way in how we think about our training and stuff like that. One thing I just want to say is obviously thanks for those who leave comments below in my videos, and I just encourage more of you to leave comments below. I'll try and get round to them and answer some questions. I'm all about opening up debate, so please comment below in my videos below, because it really opens up people's thinking about things. And if we actually open up our thinking about things, then we can explore it a lot more, and that changes our minds and changes our training in our minds as well. And if we start to open our minds more, then we improve and grow as people, and we improve our performance. So please leave your comments below in the box below, in the comments below, and I'll reply to them. And just with your thoughts, whether you agree with what I do talk about, or whether you don't agree, put them below, because again it promotes the debate, and we need more of that. But today I want to talk more about training, and don't rely on your training. That's the main title that I'm going through today, because what I mean by don't rely just on your training is that we should be able to just train hard, compete and succeed at what we do. It should be that simple. Unfortunately, we've learned to be intelligent beings in the fact that we've learned to think. And nowadays, because we've got so many things to think about, and the fact that some of us have become so intelligent that we've created things that have changed our minds and actually kind of hypnotized us, like phones, media and things like that. We've created things in our lives that actually can promote our thinking, and most of this thinking is not actually beneficial to us, in the fact that if we are negative thinking, then that's weakening our body. So what's in the mind is in the body, and what's in the body is in the mind. So we must remember that, in the fact that we can't just rely on training hard and then competing. So this is not to make things complicated for you. That's not my meaning, but paradoxically to make things, a little bit easier for you. I'm all for consistent training. I'm not saying don't train or train less. I'm concentrating the fact that do your training, but consistently, and make it consistent. Do your training at a rate and an intensity that's going to get you back doing the next training session the next day and next day and next day. I found that actually it's better for me to actually take the tinge off my training sessions, personal training sessions, sprint sessions, so I'm not pushing myself so much, because that's going to bring me back for the next day and the next day and the next day. I've done years of training hard and just pushing myself to the limit, and to the fact that when I finished sessions I was on the floor, and it was just really, really painful. And I'm at my age, at 39, I'm just not willing to go through that again, and I don't think it's beneficial for us either. So we need to concentrate on consistent training, because we're going to keep ourselves injury-free more, and we're going to be concentrating on the fact that of improving our training sessions. Just because you train hard doesn't mean that that's a great training session. We've got to think about our main goal is to do a great training session to improve our performance. And training hard might not be that, it doesn't mean that consistently. So what I mean by not just relying on your training, as I was saying, I've digressed a little bit. What I'm saying is that a lot of mainstream media and things we've created to cause thinking in ourselves and constant thinking in ourselves. And when we think, we often think about the negative stuff, because obviously with mainstream media, a lot of the stuff is provoked to provoke fear in us and provoke negativity. This is it's not beneficial to our body. Our body actually buckles under this pressure. And when we get negativity, we're going to become stressed. And as I talked about in previous videos, when the body becomes under stress, then it's going to be weak. It goes into that protective state where our body kind of implodes on itself, and we start to, muscles in the hips start to switch off, and our posture is affected, and we start to go into defensive pattern, because when we're under stress, our shoulders come forward to protect the weak areas, our hips that have switched off, to protect our weak areas. When we want to be actually like performing at this rate, we want to be more open, we want to be explosive instead of imploding, if you see what I mean. So that's what stress does to us. So the main idea is to actually, when we're concentrating too much on our training, we're constantly training hard, we're allowing these things, negativity, to come into our minds. And training hard with this negative in the minds is just a recipe for disaster. You might, whatever, you're young enough, and you might, if you train hard, you'll probably get to the point that it works for you. Training hard, if you're just starting out in your running career and your sprinting career, training hard and you're young, training hard works for you, but you come to a point where it's not sustainable, and it will cause injury later on if you do not address the stressful and negativity and the thinking that's kind of invading your training, as it were. So it's all the stress and negativity on top of hard training. It's just going to cause more stress, cause more frustration, because your body's going to be not only going to become weaker and you're going to react slower, but you're also hampering yourself in the fact you're going to start to get injured as well. So you need to think about more sustainable kind of way of thinking about your training. And as I say, do training that's going to get you coming back the next day and the next day and the next day is going to keep you inspired to do that. One of the things I keep on coming back to, I saw a former Olympic champion who's training for Tokyo. She's a previous Olympic champion. She previously said in the press, I can't go on with this because in regards to the lockdown, she was not being able to train, but at the same time she was saying, I cannot go on with this toil, this kind of slog for a year longer, in the fact that she wasn't enjoying her training, and she was just, she didn't want to, she was finding training a slog, and that's not beneficial. You don't want to have your training a slog. That's not going to do your performance any good whatsoever, and it's just hampering yourself completely. And this is coming from an Olympic champion. So this girl has a profile, so this is not good. And if she actually changed, as I said previously if she actually changed a approach to her training that's going to get more fun and in positivity and inspiring, that's going to inspire her to come back the next day, she's going to that's a performance will soar. And that's what we need to be progressed on. We need to start thinking about the type of training, how we train, not training hard, but how we think about our training and how we are when we train, to actually get the best out of our training. Thing is, one of the other thing I want to say about the training is the fact that when we can rely so much on our training, we become training obsessives. I've coined this phrase kind of thing, and it's not an official phrase, but I know it's out there. It's called fitness obsession. And when we become fitness obsessed, we start to be blinkered in our training. And when we think about training hard constantly, we start to forget about opening our minds up to, we stop thinking, for one thing, paradoxically, we start thinking about other things, but we stop thinking about our training. We start thinking that accepting or getting our minds that training hard is what we need to do. But we don't question whether that's right. And we start to get blinkered in our training is the fact that this is what I got to do, focus down, train hard. And we forget about other things that could help us in our training, our performance. And we start to think, but also when we think about our training, it's obviously the fitness obsessive is trying to run away from something outside their life as well. So the fitness work is actually their escape. So we have to remember that when we eulogize about these people with incredible work rate in training, we have to question, well, hold on, I may not be like that. Why am I not like that? It's probably that, they're trying to run away from something else in their life to keep them on their training. Some people train to escape other things in their life. So we need to consider that as well. But the fact is that the training we do has to be beneficial to us, and the training we do has to inspire us, and the training we do, how we feel about the training and how we feel while we're doing the training is hugely important. And that's the other thing. And how we feel, if we're dealing with how we feel, then we have to deal with the negativity coming in from outside pressures in our life, and how's that impacting our training as well. So hopefully this video gives you something to think about. The main thing I wanted to say is don't rely on your training. Don't rely on just training hard. Think about how you're thinking. Am I worrying and anxious and fearful about other things in my life? Am I constantly thinking negativity that is going to invade our training, and actually at the end of the day is not going to be sustainable? It's going to cause us more harm than good? Or are we kind of able to come into the present moment, relax, stop thinking, and actually let the training do its work? Are we being sustainable with our training? The fact that, are we training it in a way that's going to inspire us to come back the next day, the next day, and the next day? Or are we training too hard? Are you on the floor too much in training? Are you on the floor after training sessions? Because if you're young, you can get away with that for a period of time, but when you get older, that's not beneficial. So it's just a few questions for you to consider. Again, it's not to make things more complicated for yourself, it's to simplify things. It should be the case that we should be able to train hard and do it. Train hard and succeed without much injury. We should be, but there's too many other things that are coming in, invading ourselves, that we've got to identify, that's stopping us actually doing it. It's too much thinking coming in, invading, and we should be able to train instinctively. We should be able to do our sport and sprint instinctively, because that is allowing our body to do its job. Hope you liked that video. If you could subscribe to my channel, this would be beneficial to you, because it actually gives you more tips like this that are going to help you improve your sports performance, your speed, your sprinting quickly or instantly. So please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. And just leaves me to say, hope you like the video. Please like it, please share it, and see you in the next video.